Okay, for our session today, we will be having dividing polynomials, and I will be focusing on synthetic division. But I'm going to give you one example on long division. Because when you have long division, I guess you had this one, Yenny, when you were grade 7. But we will not focus on long division. Why? Because there is what you call a shorter method called synthetic division. And this is the method I prefer the most when it comes to dividing polynomials. Okay? Now, let's begin first with one example on how to divide polynomials using the long division method first. So, let's divide this given polynomials using long division. So, first thing to do is this. You need to check whether your polynomial is written in standard form. So, if you are going to examine the polynomial negative y squared plus 2y cubed plus 25, is this written in standard form? When I say standard form, the exponents should be arranged from highest to lowest.
No, sir. Not yet, sir.
No, it's not. So it's not arranged, it's not written in standard form. Now, here's another thing. Are there any missing terms?
No, sir.
I-check na to, na ay y cubed, na ay y squared. Is there a y in your polynomial? Is there a variable like y raised to 1 alone?
Wala, sir.
Wala. So, meaning, na ay missing term. So, katong missing term, we will be placing 0 for that. So, I will be writing this one. So, I will start with the largest exponent, that's 2y cubed, followed by negative y squared. Check. And the missing term, so take note, include the missing terms or missing terms. Next, the constant term 25. So again, write the dividend in standard form, including terms with coefficient of 0, meaning the missing terms, if there are any. Next, step 2. Write the division in the same way you would when dividing numbers. So I will be writing this inside the division symbol, and then I'll be writing this over here. So to write that, inga na siya ang dagway. Now let's proceed to the division process now. Just like when you divide numbers, diba you always start with the first number. In this case, I'll divide the first term with y. That is the first thing to do. So when you divide 2y cubed by y, what's the result? It's 2y squared, right? So divide 2y cubed by y, the result is 2y squared. Write 2y squared above 2y cubed. So, divide ni na ako, ang result, ibutan ako sa babaw. And then, multiply. So, kini siya, akong i-multiply ni y, i-multiply na ako ni 3. And the result is written below, dire. So, I have 2y squared times y is 2y cubed. 2y squared times negative 3 is negative 6y squared. Diba after multiplying kay you will proceed to subtraction? Mauni rule when you divide numbers. So the same thing here. I will proceed to subtraction, but when you subtract like polynomials, diba you will change the sign, change the sign, change the sign, proceed to addition. So what will happen here? Ma-cancel ng 2y cubed. What is negative y squared plus 6y squared? Diba there is 5y squared. Bring down 0. So, combine, then bring down 0. Then go back to the process again. I-divide na po din ako sa y. What is 5y squared divided by y?
5y, sir.
5y. Or write it above 5y. And then, the same process. Multiply nina ko ang 5y sa y ug sa 3. So, 5y times y is 5y squared. 5y times negative 3, that's negative 15. Then, i-minus na po na nako ang operation. So, change the sign, proceed to addition. Cancel out. So, we have 0y og 15y, that's 15y. Bring down 25. Divide 15y by y, you will get 15 for that. Then, i-multiply na po din ako ang 15 sa y minus 3. I'll get 15y minus 15. Minus 45. And then, you subtract again. Change the sign, proceed to addition. Then I have cancel. This is 70. That's the remainder. So how do you write your final answer? You write this starting with the quotient, this one, plus the remainder over the divisor. What's the divisor here? The divisor is y minus 3. Diba? That's our divisor. Moment ng divisor na to. So I have now 2y squared plus 5y plus 15. That's the quotient. Plus the remainder 70 all over y minus 3, which is the divisor. So this will be our quotient now when I use long division. Now, just like what I said a while ago, I will just introduce the steps of long division, but we will focus on synthetic division. Because synthetic division is a shorthand method of dividing polynomials by a linear binomial using only coefficients. For synthetic division to work, the polynomial must be written in standard form. And take note, if there are missing terms, you need to write the number 0 for the missing terms. And the divisor must be in the form x minus a. Now, let's have our first example para mas masabtan unsa juning synthetic division. Let's have this one. If I'm gonna divide x cubed minus 2x squared minus x minus 6 by x minus 3, let's examine first. Is this in standard form already?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is. So if it's in standard form, let's solve a now. Find a. A can be found in the divisor. You can solve a by using the divisor. What's the opposite of negative 3?
3, sir.
Positive 3. Therefore, the value of a is positive 3. It's simply the opposite of your divisor. Kung unsay sign sa inyong divisor, i-opposite na saya, that's the value of a. Take note, we have already the value of a. Next, let's write the coefficients. Okay, let's verify. What is the coefficient of x cubed?
1, sir.
1. Ang number nga gauna sa x cubed, sir, 1. Mo nang nay 1 dire. What is the coefficient of negative 2x squared?
Negative 2, sir.
Negative 2. That's why we have negative 2 there. What is the coefficient of negative x?
Negative 1, sir.
Negative 1. And lastly, the constant term, negative 6. And you write the value of a in this part. Left part na to ibutang si a. So, mo ni siya, ang giingon na kung gamito na ko ang coefficients only when I use synthetic. So, I am writing all the coefficients of our polynomial. Next, let's do step number 3. Step number 3, the first thing to do is bring down the first coefficient. What's the first coefficient there?
1, sir.
1. Or bring down 1. That's the first thing to do. Bring down 1. Then, multiply, add. Multiply, add. Ang process, magbalik-balik na kaani. Multiply, add. Multiply, add. Sir, unsay multiply? Oh, look at the arrows here. Multiply 3 and 1. Write the product below the second number. Again, multiply 3 and 1 and write the product below the second number. So what's the product of 3 and 1?
3, sir.
All right, 3 below negative 2. So, manata sa multiply. Add. Sir, asa i-add? Ana? Add the column. Kana. What is negative 2 plus 3?
1, sir.
1. Write 1 below. Next, balik na ta sa multiply na pod. 3 times 1. So, katong bag-o nga number nga ubos, i-multiply na ako si 3, ana. And you will get 3. Write it sa next nga space nato. Okay? Next, you add again the column. So, negative 1 plus 3, you will get 2 for that. Then, multiply again. 3 times 2, that will give us 6. Then, you add again. And 0. And take note, I will be putting that inside a box because this will tell me, this last number here will tell me, that's the remainder. The last number anang synthetic is the remainder. In this case, the remainder is 0. Is step number 3 clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's continue. Now, what is the degree of your polynomial? Go back to the given. What's the degree?
3, sir.
3.
Sir.
So, in our answer, what is 1 less than the degree? So, that's 3 minus 1. That's 2. So, I'll start with x squared, followed by x, followed by the constant term. Sir, what if, sir, x raised to 5 ni siya, sir? So, I will start with x raised to 4, x cubed, x squared, so on and so forth. So, meaning, ang degree sa atong answer will be less than 1 sa degree sa ato ang given. So, in this case, our degree is 3. So, 3 minus 2, I'm gonna start with x squared. I mean, 3 minus 1 rather, 3 minus 1, that's 2. I will start with x squared here. So, to write my final answer, I will simply have x squared plus x plus 2. X squared plus x plus 2. And that will be our quotient. Any questions so far? Okay, para mas masabtanig maayo, let's have another example. Let's have this example. So, step number 1, find A. What is the value of A here?
Negative 3, sir.
Negative?
Negative 2, sir.
Negative 2. Opposite, ana, sir, is negative 2. So, the value of A is negative 2. Let's identify the coefficients now. So, what's the coefficient of our x raised to 4?
3, sir.
3. Next coefficient is what?
1, sir. Negative 1.
Negative 1. Next to negative 1,
Positive
5.
take note, are there any missing terms?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, meaning, after negative 1, what should I write?
0x.
0.
Zero.
Take note, napa may x squared din na niya. Wala may x squared na kabutang, butangan na kog 0. Now, look at this one. I started with 3, then we have negative 1. This one is for x squared. The 0 is for x squared. What about the coefficient of x? Sir, it's 5. And the constant term, negative 1. So take note, it's very important to write 0 for the missing terms. And write your A over here. Let's do step number 3 now. Step number 3, bring down 3. Let's do multiply, add, the process. Multiply. How much?
Negative 6, sir.
Negative 6. Add.
Negative 7.
Negative 7. Multiply. How much?
Positive 14, sir.
Positive 14. Add.
14.
14. Next, multiply again. Negative 2 and 14.
Negative 28.
Negative 28. You add. How much?
Negative 23.
Negative 23. Multiply again. Multiply. What's the result?
Positive 46.
Positive 46. And when you add, how much is the remainder?
45.
45.
The remainder is 45. Isud og box para di ta malibog ana. This will be our remainder. Now, how do we write our final answer? What's the degree of the given?
4, sir.
4. So I will start with
3.
okay, I will start with x cubed. Next is x squared. Next is the variable x. So writing this in our final answer sa step number 4, what will be our final answer now? Anybody who would like to tell me the final answer? The quotient?
Answer.
Yes, go on.
3x cubes minus 7x squared plus 14x minus 23 plus 45 over x plus 2.
Correct. That's totally right. So we have 3x cubed minus 7x squared plus, so take note na anay plus 14x minus 23, and we have the remainder over the divisor, which is x plus 2. Let's have another example. This one. Examine, is your polynomial written in standard form?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's continue. What's the value of a? What's the value of a?
Negative 3.
Negative 3 will be the value of a. Opposite aniniya, negative 3. Correct. Now, let's go to step number 2. Write the coefficients and a in the synthetic division format. So, what are the coefficients here?
2, sir. Negative 5 or negative 6.
Okay, 6, negative 5, and negative 6 are correct. And then, you write the number 3 over here. Now, let's go to step number 3. Bring down 6. And then, unsay sunod buhaton, class?
Multiply.
Multiply negative 3 and 6. How much do you get?
Negative 18.
Negative 18. What's the next thing to do? You
Plus.
add. So what?
Negative 22.
Negative 23. I agree with that. That's a negative 18, negative 23. Next to this one, what will be the next step?
Multiply again.
Multiply again. How much do we get when you multiply negative?
Negative 52.
Negative. Positive?
Positive 69. Positive.
Positive 69. And what is negative 6 plus 69?
63, sir.
63. The remainder is 63. So how do you write your final answer? Look at the degree. The degree is 2. So minus 1, I will start with x.
6x.
6x, correct. 6x
Then constant.
minus 3 plus...
63 over x plus 3.
That's totally right. 6x minus 23 plus 63 over x plus 3. Let's have more examples para mas maklaro ni nato. Let's have more examples. Okay? Let's have more examples. Okay. For a while, ha. Okay. Let's proceed now. I will not be showing the steps here. I will be showing you just the one display of the solution. So the first thing that you're gonna do is you write down here the value of a. What's the value of a?
Positive 5.
Positive 5. I'll be writing positive 5 there. Now let's write down the coefficient. What is the coefficient of x raised to 4?
1.
1. X cubed.
Negative 1.
Negative 1. X squared.
Negative 9.
Negative 19. X.
Negative 11.
Negative 11. And lastly, the constant term, 30. Okay, let's do step number 3. Bring down 1. Then multiply. So how much is that?
5.
5. You
Then
add.
add 4.
4. Correct. Then multiply again. You will get 20. Then you add
1.
1, sir.
1. Then multiply again. How
Five.
much? 5. Then you add
Negative 6, sir.
negative 6. Multiply.
Negative 30.
Negative 30. The remainder is
0.
0.
0.
So how do you write your final answer now?
Since
Yes, go
the
on.
degree is x cubed, x raised to the power 4. So, unahan naman siya x cubed.
X
So,
cubed
1
tamag
x
ano.
cubed,
Okay, next.
negative x squared,
Uh,
4x squared.
Is this negative?
Ay,
Plus 4x
Okay,
squared.
kung wala siya negative sign, ang isuwat na ko positive. Positive
okay, so,
for x.
Squared.
Sorry, x cubed di ay ni siya. Sunod, x squared. Sunod, aning 4x squared, unsa isunod?
x.
Plus x. Plus
Okay,
x.
plus x. And lastly, bring
Negative
down,
6.
okay, isuwat lang ang negative 6. That's totally fine. And this will be our final answer. Okay? Let's have another example. This one over here. Okay, let's write down the value of A. What's the value of A?
3.
Positive 3. That's totally right. Positive 3, opposite in negative 3. Let's write the coefficients now. What should you write first?
1, sir.
1. After 1,
0.
Negative
0.
9.
Very good. Nakabantay siya nga na ay missing term, x cubed. That's why I need to write 0 for x cubed. Next, x squared.
Negative 9.
Negative 9. Sunod, x.
Negative 4.
Negative 4. Sunod, the constant term 12. So be careful ha, be careful. Kay kung di ganit nabutang ang 0, masayop jud na inyong answers. Okay, let's continue. Bring down 1. Multiply.
3, sir.
3. I-add.
3.
3.
sir.
Multiply.
9.
9. I-add.
0.
0. Multiply.
0.
0. I-add.
Negative 4.
Negative 4. Multiply.
Negative 12.
Negative 12. The remainder is 0. Okay. Unsay exponent ko mag-start sa kong final answer?
X cubed.
X cubed.
Okay, let me write down sa x cubed, then x squared, then x. So let's write our final answer now. What is our final answer now?
X cubed.
X
X
cubed
cubed plus 3x
plus
squared
3x squared.
plus x.
Do we need
minus
to
4.
write 0x?
No need na,
No
sir.
need. Diretso na ta. Minus
Minus
4.
4.
There you go. And that will be our quotient. Now, here's my question. Which do you prefer, the long division or the synthetic division?
Synthetic, sir.
Oh, I prefer synthetic division. Okay, why should we why should we torture ourselves with a very long method when in fact there's a shorter method for that? Okay? Now, let's have another example. I prepared a lot of examples for our session today. What is the value of A?
Negative 2, sir.
Negative 2. Okay, let's write the coefficient. X cubed.
1, sir.
1. X squared.
Positive 10.
Positive 10. X.
Negative 7.
Negative 7. And the constant term, which is 16.
16.
So, walay 0 dira, sir, kay walay missing term. Bring down 1. Next, unsay buhaton sunod, B?
Multiply.
Negative 2 and 1.
Multiply negative 2 and 1. The result is
Negative 2.
negative 2. And then you add them. How much do you get?
8, sir.
8. That's 10 minus 2. That's 8. Then you multiply negative 2 and 8. How much is
Negative
that?
16.
Negative 16. You combine, you add.
Negative 23.
Negative 23. Then multiply negative 2 and negative 23.
Positive 46.
Positive 46. So what is our remainder?
62.
62 is the remainder. So how do we write our final answer now? Sige, you tell me what to write here. X squared because x cubed, so mag-start
Plus
kun x squared.
8x.
Plus 8x, correct.
Minus 23.
Minus 23. How do you write your remainder?
Plus 62.
Plus 62.
Plus 2.
Okay, plus 62 over x plus 2. That's totally correct. This will be our quotient. Okay? Let's have another example. This one. What is the value of A?
Negative
Negative
2.
Negative 2. Okay, you tell me the coefficients now. What are the coefficients here?
1, sir.
1 next to 1.
0, sir.
0.
0 for x cubed. Take note, x cubed is missing. Next.
Negative 2.
Negative 8. Next.
0.
0. 0 for the variable x because x is missing there. Next is
Plus
16.
sir.
So therefore,
Positive
natay duha ka zeros, kinay duha ka missing terms. Continue ta. Bring down 1. O multiply. How much?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Add.
Negative 2.
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Multiply.
Positive 4.
Positive 4. Add.
Negative
Negative 4.
Negative 4. Multiply.
Positive 8.
Positive 8. I-add.
8.
That's 8.
8, sir.
Then multiply.
Negative
16.
Negative 16. 0.
0,
is
sir.
that. So
0,
how
sir.
do you write your final answer now?
X.
X cubed.
X cubed.
minus 2
Negative
squared.
2x.
Okay, that's minus 2x squared. Sunod.
Minus 4.
Minus 4.
Minus 4x. Human.
Plus 8.
Plus 8. Okay, that will be our final answer. Any questions so far?
Answer.
Okay, now I will give you 2 more examples, but this time this is totally different with our divisor. Look at the divisor now. What have you noticed?
May coefficient, sir.
Naanay coefficient ang atuang divisor, ang x. So ang buhaton na ko ani is still the same. I will look for the value of a. But how do I look for the value of a? I will equate the divisor to 0. So 2x minus 1 equals 0. I will solve for x. So 2x equals, transposing this, mahimong positive 1. Divide both sides by 2. So ang x di ay nako, ang value sa a is 1 half. Okay? Now, let's write down the coefficients. What are the coefficients here?
2.
2,
Negative
negative 3,
Negative 3.
negative 3,
And 2.
and 2. Okay, the same process. You bring down 2. But this time, ang i-times na ko is fraction. 1 half times 2 is how much?
1.
1.
1, sir.
Okay. 1 half times 2 is 1. Sir, pwede sad, sir, like 1 times 2 divided by 2. Pwede rasad. 1 times 2 divided by 2 is 1. Then you combine. This is
Negative 2.
negative 2. Okay. 1 half times negative 2.
Negative 1, sir.
Negative 1.
1.
And then you combine, you add
Negative 4.
negative 4. The same. 1 half times negative 2.
Negative 2.
Negative 2. And you will get a 0 here.
0.
Now, do not put the variables yet because this is not our final answer. Since our a is a fraction, what's our denominator? What's the denominator in our a?
2.
2.
sir.
So, kining 2, ako nang i-over 2 tanan. Take note ha, basta fraction gani, i-over 2 na siya tanan. And what's the result for 2 over 2? That's 1. This is negative 1. This is negative 2. Simplify your fraction. And mauna ni magbutang taog variables. So what will be our final answer now?
X squared.
X squared
Minus 1.
minus x minus 2.
2.
And this will be our final answer. Okay? Let's have another example. Last example nga naay coefficient inyong variable. X sa divisor. Now, let's solve for x first. So we have 3x plus 2 equals 0. Transpose na mahimo ng negative 2 divided by 3. So ang atong value di ay nga ibutang dire, negative 2 thirds. Oh, let's write down the coefficients now. So we have
3, sir.
3,
Positive 5.
5,
Negative
4.
negative 4,
Negative 4.
negative 4. Okay. Bring down 3. 2/3, negative 2/3, it times ni mo sa 3, how much?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. You add.
3.
That's 3. So, negative 2/3, it times ni mo ni 3. So, negative 2 times 3, negative 6 divided by 3, how much?
Negative 2 gyapon sir.
It's still negative
Negative
2.
2,
And you combine this to get negative 6. Okay. Negative 2/3, it times ni mo ni negative 6. So, negative 2 times negative 6, sir, is 12. 12 divided by 3, sir, how much is that?
4.
4.
4.
And the remainder is 4.
0.
0. The remainder is 0. Now, what are you gonna do next?
Divide all numbers
By how much? By how much? Divide
by the
every
denominator.
by
3,
the
sir.
denominator
3.
3. So our denominator now is 3. That will be the divisor. So we have 1, 1, and negative.
Negative 2.
So what will be your final answer now?
X squared
X
minus
squared.
Squared
Plus
plus
X
x
minus 2.
minus 2. And this will be our final answer for this example.